Yellow.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hooray.
Hooray! Ha ha ha.
Let's turn you up a bit here. Actually, maybe a little more.
Ow! That help?
Actually, maybe a little less. Yeah, it is always a constant struggle figuring out how to balance things properly.
Yeah, it's fun.
I may turn myself down. I don't know. It is really hard to because it's like in the broadcasting software I use, the volume level's like one way, and then when I actually record it, they turn out another way. So it's a lose-lose situation, really.
Gotcha. That sounds like not fun. So, do you see? I added some things to our things. So,
I did. Thank you.
just a few, because I did go back to that scene when you're like,
I went.
I don't know what you're talking about. To be honest, when you're telling me, I'm like,
I went. I went back as well, and I think I understood a little. Um, yeah, I think this is the part I was probably thinking of.
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So the guy I may not mention in here is yeah. Well, I guess Gravik is probably the one. I guess I mention him here. Yeah, Gravik.
Is it? It's G though. I missed that too. Damn it! It should be G in the beginning. Gravik.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, Gravik. That's right. Thanks.
Yeah, just
Oh,
making sure. What?
yeah. It's like that is the advantage of having it fresh in your head. Now it's like a little bit out from Wednesday, but
I know.
should be okay.
Yeah, we should be fine.
Really, I'd like to just get this more in a place of being more high level talk anyway than worrying about the details. Like it's not, you know, not really worth it.
Yep, I get you. Now I got to. I had to turn you down.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have to.
Like you. Sometimes when you speak, you'll like got those pops with your some of your, and it pops a little bit harder. my ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that pop. I don't know how to reinterpret it, but it's like just a.
No,
It's
I
like
know.
it's like a air going in your ear or something when you do. Like
No.
weird.
Yeah, I do know. And I turned it up on my end intentionally because my level is not showing up very high in OBS. I might turn. Honestly, I think I'm going to turn it back down because even though you just turned it up, this seems to be a bigger problem than it is. It's like more of a headache than anything. So I think I'm just going to put it back here, which is the default level. Yeah, I think this is better. I don't know. I don't know what else to do because it just sounds better on my end too.
Yeah, just adjusting my thing here. Oh, hold on.
Well, please hold.
Hey, I'm back.
Oh hey.
Oh, hey. What you drinking? Looks like a beer.
No, it's a peach black tea and sparkling water,
Hmm,
which does
nice.
contain caffeine.
I'm just drinking water in that big Yeti.
I really was getting into this hop water stuff,
Hmm.
which is
Hop
basically
water.
sparkling water but with hops. I like the
Interesting.
taste, and then I realized I'm spending that stuff is really expensive. Like Like literally 3 times more expensive. Even more than that because you get 6 cans. Yeah, I'm not buying that ever again. I didn't
Yeah,
even
that
realize. Like, I just
sounds expensive.
one of those things where I just like assume, how expensive could it be at the time? And then the second time I bought them, I actually looked at the price. I was like,
It sounds as expensive as liquid death.
it's probably a lot more expensive if I had to guess. How expensive is Liquid Death?
I don't know. I never bought a case of it. I just remember in Vegas it was $5 a can. So
Oh, but
those add up quick.
that's a show premium. Like
I know.
they'd charge that no matter what they were selling probably.
See what they go for on Amazon.
I'm sure it's not anywhere near the cost of
Liquid,
the price of this stuff.
liquid death sparkling water.
Oh, you know what else?
Oh, no. There it is. Let's see. $14, $14.99 for a 12-pack of Tall Boys.
I guess that is pretty up there.
That's that bougie water. Oh.
Okay, never mind. That looks good. Okay, good to go.
Yep.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yes,
Yeah.
excellent. Oh, this is an interesting thing. I didn't know. I think this is new. You see the little like carrot arrow to the left if you hover over certain parts in the dock, like at the top,
Oh yeah.
like lets you
Let's
collapse things. It's kind of
nice to
interesting.
see that.
Doesn't show up for everything though. It's weird. Oh,
Well, that's kind of neat.
it must only be for actual headings or something, like things with actual heading. Interesting.
Interesting. Guess what I'm getting tonight for dinner?
Dominoes?
I got a free pizza.
Nice. Oh yeah, I think I
Might as
might have
well.
something too. But I got to get that Grimace shake, so I think I'm gonna make a McDonald's stop at some point.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Actually, I might still have dinner with my dad, possibly. Or yeah, late lunch or something here.
Yeah.
All right.
4 o'clock comes around, we'll log in, do whatever tickets, and then I'm gonna turn on Diablo, and hopefully it'll load.
Nice.
Dave says it's
Yeah.
been working, so we'll see.
Excellent. Good. Good.
Good.
I need
Good.
to raise my desk a little bit here.
Hey, you're growing, or you're no, actually you're getting shorter.
I had a friend over here planning a separate podcast, and hence this microphone here. But I raised
Oh,
it.
you guys, he's gonna podcast in the same room with you.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But he like I raised the desk without him knowing. He's like, "Oh my god, am I having a stroke?" Because it's like it's raising while he's standing there. Is this what it feels like? He says. All right, let's get this show on
Well,
the road. What do you think?
yeah, I just realized I literally have all my Funko Pops in the shot.
Every one of them's there. Nice.
Yeah, look at that. All there.
For some reason, I just thought of like if that were part of a CAPTCHA or something. Like, pick the Funko Pops. You'd be tapping every
That would
square.
suck.
All right, let's go.
Ooh.
In 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to Disnerds Plus, the podcast where we talk about your favorite nerdy shows on Disney Plus. This here is episode number 36. for Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. Today we're talking about Secret Invasion number 1, Resurrection. I'm Shane.
Oh, hey Shane. I'm Mike.
Well, hello, Mike. It's been a bit. It's been a
Oh,
couple
hey,
months, I
hey,
think, since
hey.
we last did this thing.
Yeah, it was Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Yep.
and now we are back on Marvel.
We're on the Marvel train,
Back on the Marvel
and
train.
then we'll
Alternating
and then we'll
pretty
hop
much
off the
every
Marvel
other,
train
just
back on
about.
the Star Wars train.
Yes.
It's a great time,
It is, and yeah, I think that's a good. It's a good way to be if they can alternate them every other. That's kind of perfect. And
right? Way better than just dropping them all together. It's like just
as I have alluded to in the past, I am. I believe I have anyway. I am more of a fan when they have fewer episodes a season. Personally, like I like. This is one of those 6 episodes, kind of perfect in my eyes. I mean, 6 to 10 is kind of like right in that sweet spot, I think. Um,
yeah,
I'm perfectly fine with having 6 episodes. It's like that seems like Mandalorian does 8, uh, She-Hulk did 9. And I was like, it's a little much. And then Andor, which is great, which we didn't review on the show because like of overlap and the number of episodes is just kind of a lot. Uh,
yeah, yeah. That was a lot.
12 is
um,
12 is kind of a lot, which is hilarious because that's half of what used to be a traditional season for shows. But
yeah, which I like shorter seasons. It's nice because you don't have to back in the when we were kids where there'd be like 24 episodes in a season,
yeah,
an hour long, and like that would not do well right now.
and it worked really well for like the show 24. But that was ideal for that show, but yeah, we're far past that. And there's just too much shit to watch, really, is what it comes down to.
Mhm.
So let me ask you something. Is there anything in particular before we dive into this show that we want to talk about previously in the MCU that you think we need to? I mean, I can think of a couple things. Like, for
Uh,
instance, what comes to mind is when one of the last times I think we saw Nick Fury was when he was on the spacecraft. Um, even though
yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home. No, uh, which one was it?
uh,
Yeah, it was Far From Home. Yeah,
was it
because we saw
it was a
it was a
stinger,
yeah, it was
post credit
a
scene.
post-credit scene. And he was just like he got a call from Talos about what happened in London, and then from there he stops sitting in this pod that looks like he's just kind of chilling on the beach, and ends up you see him on a ship that's has a bunch of scrolls on it. So
Right. And
I don't know if that was the early stages of building the Saber
mhm,
station, or I don't know, but
right.
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, so that movie prior to that we saw a Skrull disguised as Nick Fury, right? Throughout that
That was
entire
that was Talos,
it was. Okay.
and
Nice.
Soren was playing Hill.
Okay, both of them, right. And in this scroll world, we don't really ever
The
know
Scroll World.
who's who at this point. But let's see what else. And then, in this episode, there is a flashback. Actually, we do see the uh the when Fury gets snapped, right?
Hmm.
Or gets blipped. I don't know.
Yeah, he gets
Disintegrated,
blipped. It's a
basically.
it's a blip. He's
Yeah,
a blip.
right. Which they do use that term again in this episode. Um, but yeah, that's I guess those are the big things that come to mind. They we do start this episode off with uh, Ross, which is played by what's his name?
Freeman,
almost said Morgan Martin,
Martin.
Martin Freeman. Yeah, and of course we see him in the Wakanda movies,
Now,
the
here's a
Black Panther
question:
movies. I mean,
has he always been the Skrull,
that's a great question.
or
Um,
you know, because we
yeah,
never. First time I've seen Ross since the of Wakanda forever,
right.
and I mean he was acting the same at the beginning, so it's like I have no idea now.
Well, for reasons I hope not, because as we'll see in just a second here, this episode starts off in Moscow, and it's got Ross. Was he special agent Ross? Is that his title?
Yeah, he's like Special Agent Ross.
He see him ditching a cell phone. He's
He's stitching his burner phone. He's got to get rid of
burner,
it.
of course,
It's
and
a
he's
spy trick.
right. Oh, which we should say this series is considered like a spy
It's a spy
thriller.
thriller. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
which is kind of
it,
cool concept.
it's like they're going back to like Captain America, not Civil War, the middle one. I can't think of its name now.
Winter
That's
Soldier.
kind of bugging me. Yeah, that's the one.
Yes. Yeah,
You're
which
very,
is
very good. Very feel like it has elements of that in it.
yeah, that is by and large considered. Well, I mean, people really like Civil War, but
I like Civil War too, but I mean, uh, Winter Soldier was more of like conspiracy, like what's going on here. I mean, Civil War was, but it was also trying to pit to the team against each other. Which I mean, spoiler, it did happen.
yeah, um, and yeah. So where was I going with that? I don't know.
I have no idea.
We ended up seeing this Prescod guy, Prescod, not Cot, as the subtitles tell
Pres-
me. It's spelled Prescod. Um,
oh, Prescod. Yeah,
this
you're
other
right.
guy who's
Sorry.
basically like acting like kind of a conspiracy theorist, right? He ends up talking
Oh,
to
he's like he's got a few. Looks like he's like got a few loose,
screws. Yeah,
screws.
yeah,
But I think he's just so paranoid because he's like, he doesn't know where's scrolls and where they're not.
yep,
Which that. I mean, if that was a real thing, I'd probably be a little paranoid. Be like, am I walking past a scroll or a human being?
right.
I don't know.
And he ends up talking of Fury being on the Saber, the aforementioned Saber you were referring to, which is what
Say
a
that.
larger craft of some kind. It's like a big like base.
I think we'll get this. Maybe we'll see it in the end, but I think we'll see it in the Marvels.
So we haven't seen it yet.
Nope.
Okay, and that
And it's the
original ship
first
that he was
time
on was
that was. I don't know what that was. That was
yeah,
just a ship. I don't know if that was Saber or not. They
right,
never said anything, but uh, now it makes sense. This is kind of like filling in the blanks of why Nick Fury was off planet. Like, was Talos was impersonating him for a while. That can make sense. Maybe he was
mm-hmm,
just building up this Saber, and then yeah, we'll get to see it in Marvels.
right. And then right before shit hits the fan, it's like something they're saying, basically trying to deliver a message to Fury, and then they break out in a fight, and there's a shot, and it is in fact
Prescott.
it's Prescott, right? That gets shot. And I was thinking for a second which one. Then there's a chase, and we get to see Maria Hill showing up again.
Oh, now
Kobe's
this is when the imposter Ross, or maybe we'll just call him Ross for now.
Pasta
I don't
Ross
know. Uh, when
in
he
Rasta.
he calls in for help from Maria Hill, and Maria Hill has that little like heads up display that pops in her car and it shows Ross's name. So that makes me think maybe this could be the Ross we've been seeing because
Interesting.
he already has tech that's identifying as him.
Right. Well, we don't really know how that,
But
yeah, what that tech's doing to identify him. I guess if it's just
on
facial
another,
recognition.
well, not just one other thing though.
Yeah.
In Wakanda Forever, I mean, a scroll's stronger than a human being. as we'll see
Mm-hmm.
later on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, if he was caught by the government, you think he'd break through, unless he's just playing the act, fully through. I don't know. Very,
Right.
I'm very don't know what's going on with that one. It's
Yeah.
really hard to tell if it's really the Ross or Ross is out there, but this guy's just impersonating him.
Right.
So
And this Imrasta ends up going into building, and he very quickly ascends to the top of this building. So they may be fast as well.
yeah, both of them are pretty fast. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that was an indication. I guess maybe they were
And
both.
then capable of jumping building to building, sort of. Not quite though, because that's when we get him
Well,
nearly
he
nearly
missed it.
making it to the other end of the building, and then hitting his basically his head or whatever, and falling
He
to
fell
his
out.
death, really. And that's when he, of course, is revealed to be a Skrull. And
Oh,
yeah, and so in other words, I really hope this wasn't Ross, because he's actually, I really like his character.
yeah, me
Um,
too.
yeah, I hope that's not the end of him.
Well, I'll
But
have to wait and see.
so wait and
That's
find out. And so the next thing we have is a basically a forest, where we have Maria Hill picking up Nick Fury, off of a
very.
spacecraft, right?
I'm guessing it looked like a beam of light, and it just looked like this alien coming off at
Yeah,
first with his shadow, and I was like,
right, exactly. It kind of looked
oh,
like
I already knew it was him because of the
yeah,
promo stuff, but I'm like, that just looks weird.
right. I did immediately have like close encounter, or
Yeah, yeah,
abduction vibes of some kind. Yeah. And then we see him as he's revealed. Yeah, because he even like walks out kind of like you'd see that traditional like skinny like alien silhouette, right? I
yep.
think that's how they portrayed it. And then we see him without his eye patch, which I don't remember the last time we saw him, if he still had it or not.
I think it. Well, I mean, the last time we saw him was it was Talos, but I mean, I think in no, when the end credit scene, I think he had an eye patch on still.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he
Yeah.
just got rid of it and like, fuck it.
Yeah. And that's I yeah, because his eye is like bluish or something. I don't know
Yeah, that
how
was
else.
weird. I was like, 'cause I remember in the Winter Soldier's eye was more like gray or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Right.
Just kind of changed a little bit of shade, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
That was weird.
And then we do see the like three claw marks kind of also. Uh, which
Oh yeah,
I
from
guess
from the Flurkin.
from the Flurkin. Is that Goose?
Yep, that had been Goose that did it.
Which is a card I like to play in. Well, actually, no, I don't. I don't know if I have that card in Marvel Snap, but I know it's a card in Marvel Snap. um, and it actually does do the like tentacle animation thing when you play it.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so obviously they got Samuel L. Jackson wearing some kind of contact for that now.
And he had a pretty good limp. I don't know if that was from being in space or,
Got a space limp going on.
oh, I mean,
Yeah,
you could weaken your bone structure being in space, but I don't know how artificial gravity takes place in that. But
yeah. I guess you could see his some of the claw marks with the eye patch on, like a little bit behind it. But yeah, so the thing I'm a little bit confused about that is like when it first happened, when he first gets scratched by the cat, or not cat, non-cat,
that Flurkin.
the Flurkin. Uh, was it like a tease because he talks about it just being a scratch or whatever?
Yeah,
Um,
he was just like, it's just a scratch, and like Talos and Soren are like, no. So it must be like, if you get scratched, it like really messes you up. If you get scratched by a Flurkin, I don't know.
oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, because yeah, it was just a little bit unclear on if that was the scratch or not that did that, but
Oh yeah, that was it.
that
But
was the
Blurkin did
scratch.
it. I wonder where Goose is now. I mean, is he still there
Where's
with
Goose these
Fury?
days?
I know.
Sorry,
Where's
I'm
Goose?
browsing, I'm perusing Google Images, and I'm being reminded that there was a David Hasselhoff Nick Fury show, Agent
Oh
of
yeah, there
Shield.
was. And
Agent
then
of
they,
Shield. That's
well, and then
funny.
they changed. There, I think it was like in the Ultimates, they changed Nick Fury to being a black guy. And then they were like Samuel L. Jackson was actually the one that reached out because he's like, "That's me.
Oh,
That's
so
literally
that
me."
was.
It
Oh yeah.
literally looked like him. Like when they did the first comic, and he like, because I think he's a big comic guy, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
He like freaked out about him. I think called his agent about because and tried to see how he could be involved if they did anything. Nick Fury, and look at him now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now he's literally the face of Nick Fury because,
He said he'll do that. He'll do that as long as they keep asking him to do it,
going back
or they
to
kill him.
Marvel Snap, that is yeah, it's absolutely his likeness being used there.
Oh yeah.
So, and I mean they have different card iterations, but
They watch they have a David Hasselhoff one come up.
I don't. They might have one in there. I'm not
That
sure,
would be
but
hilarious. I mean, they're doing the whole multiverse. They could do that.
right. So, then we're taken back to building where we have Soren and is it Talos? You said is how you pronounce it. Keep
Talos,
wanting to say
yes.
Talos or something, but they're upstairs in this building, and Maria Hill is up there, and she starts talking to, I believe she's talking to Fury at this point about this Gravik, who is the head of this Skrull like resistance
Hmm.
uh, group, and talking about these weapons or bombs specifically. I think that they have, and I did catch a little extra piece in there about how the Skrulls are apparently immune to radiation, um,
Hmm.
which is
That's why they can live near abandoned power plants or nuclear power plants.
right, and how they can probably handle the bombs a little more than the average human, I would imagine.
Probably. Yeah.
But yeah, so then there's kind of a debriefing with Talos and Hill. Um, yeah, that's basically what it was there. Like you said, okay, a stolen dirty bomb.
Hmm.
I see your note in here, and um,
It was
yeah,
the day that Prescott. Oh, I messed up his name again.
it was the same day. Yeah, I only know. Again, it's one of those things. You only know if you have the subtitles turned on with some of these spellings. But Prescod. Uh, so the same day that he was killed by quote
I
unquote Ross,
Ross.
or maybe just Ross. Ross
Ross
Skull, and,
Scroll.
and Ross died.
Ross
Yeah.
Scroll.
Uh, so then we get a nice little scene. This is like a very quick and only moment we see the president at the White House talking with Rhodey. We get Rhodey in there.
Rhodey he seemed like he was acting a little weird too, but I don't know if they're trying to
Oh,
do that just to throw you off on everything, because he seemed like he knows Hill and Furies. I mean, he fought with them, obviously. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. Brody just seems like very suspicious.
right. And so he's talking to the president. The president is Dermot Mulrooney, right?
Yep, Dermot Maroney,
Haven't seen
the
that guy in a while.
my best friend's wedding.
Yep. The thing I originally think I know him from was Angels in the Outfield. I think he was
He was in there,
think
wasn't
he
he?
was the dad of what's his face? Can't think of his name. Third Rock from the Sun. That
Oh, you're
guy,
talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Thank you. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
see
he's his
now.
dad in that.
Let me see.
He
Let's
was on
see.
an episode of Friends, I want to
Oh
say.
yeah, Mr. Bowman, Roger's dad. Look at that. Crazy.
Yeah, he looked
Did
pretty.
not even
He's
realize
pretty
that.
distinguished with his gray hair now. But
All right.
so Rhodey's. I'm trying to remember what Rhodey's trying to convey to him, essentially. Um, what that general conversation was about. Probably about these.
Just let him know that hey, these two are AWOL now.
Sure, sure. Wait, so sorry. Which two are we talking about?
We're talking about the president and Rhodey telling the president about Hill and Fury being AWOL, right?
Okay, gotcha. Yep, yep, gotcha.
Because they weren't getting back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure, sure. Right, because yeah, they're kind of off the grid, trying to figure this out themselves, I guess.
Mhm.
And so, meanwhile, back in Russia, or yeah, Moscow, um, the in the previous scene, Fury had said he needed to take a walk after kind of getting all that information, and he passes a couple of different couples of people, and they seem to be acting kind of strange, and then he basically gets abducted in a van. um, that whole thing, the old trope of uh,
The old abduction trip of
right
a van.
of we gotta hide you to you can't know where we're going or whatever kind of a thing. Um,
Yeah.
despite
Whew.
despite after all this, him leaving on his own accord, pretty much knowing where he is already, I think. But we're taken to a home of sorts, a mansion, presumably. I want to say,
Mhm.
and that's where we see Sonia Fallsworth of the Fallsworth estate or something. No, you know more about this lady, I think.
I just looked it up. Excuse me. Her name is very interesting because it comes up because one of the Howling Commandos in the Captain America movie, the first Avenger, had one of his Howling Commandos was named what's his name? James Montgomery Fallsworth. So just curious if those two are related or not.
That can't be a coincidence, I don't think.
Right. Right. And they were both in spy kind of stuff. I think he went to more spy stuff after the war. So yeah, I think that's his granddaughter, maybe granddaughter.
Yep, yep. I would say that sounds pretty feasible. But I'm sure we'll find out more about that.
Mm-hmm.
This room. So apparently they know each other, though. They've known each because she was
Well, they're she's MI6 like director, I think, or something like
MI6. Yes,
MI6.
which is yeah. I guess that's Britain's basically version of the what CIA,
I would think so.
or
Yeah.
is it FBI? One
Yeah.
of those. I don't know.
No, I would say CIA because
CIA because
CIA
that's
is
more
more
like
spycraft.
spy. Yeah, spy shit.
But FBI does some spy stuff, so it's hard to. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. um, and there's a bunch of clocks in this room, and one then there's a little what owl figurine or like
Yeah, Fury put something in the eye, make
oh,
it.
did he put? I thought it was already there,
No,
and he was just
he literally touched the eyeball, and there was nothing there, and then you put an eyeball, and there
oh,
was like this little like silhouette of something that he just put on there.
right.
So he's already at his spycraft. I think he's like playing the game right now and acting like he's too old to go against, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're the old Nick Fury. You're not the Nick Fury we used to know. Like we're 10 steps ahead of you right now."
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's actually 10 steps ahead of them.
Right. Yeah, she did keep making
He's just
comments
playing
about
it
that.
off. Yep.
So, like the reason she basically was like, "Go home" or whatever, and
Yeah, go
uh,
back to space.
you're getting too old for this shit, kind of a thing. Um, but yeah, you're right. I as we find out later, yeah, I was trying to figure out why they were able to see her, and now that adds up. Um, basically puts like you said almost like a contact lens camera on the eye of
Yeah.
this
I
like
wish we
owl.
had that. Maybe you never know. Maybe there is tech like that out there already, but that's pretty crazy tech.
So he ends up saying he'll walk home basically, and which is funny because he could have makes me think he could have just walked there in the first place if he knew where he was like the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I even gloated about, oh, I already knew your goons were coming after me. Like I
Well,
had,
how to
how'd I
get
expect
to
me to
you?
get to you? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So those are already like, yeah, I'm not old yet. Like
Yep.
I'm already knowing what you're doing. Like cool.
So then back in another foresty area, there.
312 kilometers from Moscow. I
Oh
think it
wow,
was
that's pretty. That sounds
like
far.
southeast of southwest or southeast, I thought it said, of Moscow. Like, wow. You really got that down to a T, huh?
Yeah. Um. So there's a scroll. Well, initially it appears as a human and comes up to a gate where we meet Amelia Clark's character, which is Gaia. At a gate, and I didn't. I realized. I think Talos was maybe mentioned Gaia prior to this. Um, I
We
don't
said
know.
that Gaia's disappeared
Right. So we maybe
to
don't know her
Fury.
name at this point. But
Right.
it's
We don't even know that's Gaia at this point. So
right.
we just know it's Amelia Clark and some character.
Mm-hmm. Meet at this gate, and this guy, we don't know he's a Skrull until he actually takes his, like, as soon as he takes his hoodie up or
So
puts his,
no, he takes his hat off and
takes
then
his
puts
hat
it in
off,
front
and
of
it
his face.
pretty much, that's when I was able to
They're
reveal it.
well, that is just saving CGI bucks.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Kind of a
definitely
cool,
definitely doing it that way because then they have humans and scrolls in there in the compound later on. So I guess they
CGI.
had a budget.
I like CGI bucks. Can I pay you in CGI bucks?
All right.
um, yeah. So they, yeah, I'm sure. I still kind of like the effect, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it
you're
was
right.
good.
Yeah.
But it's
Every
definitely
time he,
saving money on cost of CGI because it's probably
r-
not cheap.
right, revealed it to show her that he's a Skrull, and then put it back down. Put it back down. Instant, instant human form again too. But she ends up offering Skrull food when they get through the gate and they're driving along because they actually have Skrull food, which he's surprised about, and we see
Like, oh
that
my god, it's scroll food.
we see that it is this abandoned power plant, and
Nuclear power plant, by the way.
nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
Yeah.
um, we see some kids playing, and some. Yeah, I guess that is important to note. It's not a coal or
Right.
uh,
Well, they
or
can withstand the nuclear, I don't know, fusion or
mm-hmm.
not fusion. The the waste,
Yeah,
whatever is left over. I don't
radiation.
know.
Yeah,
Radiation. Yeah, that's the word I was trying to think
that's the
of.
one. Um, yeah, so we see some kids playing and uh, some adults hanging out. Uh,
Yeah.
all scrolls. Well, I mean, there's
On,
some actual scrolls,
there's a
but
mix.
then some people
There's
that
a
look.
mix of scrolls and scrolls in human form. I would. Yeah, that's the best way to say it.
Yeah. And Gaia is talking about how if you choose to be a warrior, you have. She said you can leave. Um,
If you're a warrior, then you get to leave because they want you to like be like an agent of whatever
mm,
they're trying to do. Well,
right,
take over the world.
right. Basically, trying to recruit him right off the bat,
Yep.
and for that, and then we see. So yeah, they're able to keep their human form, like Gaia specifically. Stays in her human form uh, for that reason, I guess. and see a bunch of guys in the sort of behind the scenes, really kind of messing a guy up, um, basically like torturing him.
Yep.
Um,
Well,
and
they're
then
taking his identity, I think.
right, ultimately have a guy, yeah, assimilate to him or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, take his form. But uh, in after that, that's where we actually do see back at this house or building that
Safe
fear.
house.
What is it?
Safe house.
There you go. Safe house where Fury, Talos, and Hill are at. We see this hologram of Sonya, which is presumably the camera that Fury left in Sonya's living room or whatever it is, clock room. um, and yeah, so there's some information garnered from that, and the three of them talk through that, and then back on New Skrullos. Oh, I guess we didn't say that part. That was the
Yeah, it's those compounds called New Skrulls. I'm thinking they want to call Earth New Skrulls if they could.
yeah,
I mean, they're
maybe
already kind of, but integrating their own plants into that area. So
right. That's maybe the ultimate goal here, right?
right,
Based on the title of this show, that kind of seems to be the case.
secret
Um,
invasion.
um, oh, which we can briefly say. So, you know, as I mentioned in the past, I'm not traditionally a big comic reader, but my understanding is that the original idea behind Secret Invasion was that it was the Skrulls anyway. And so, people that were big, hardcore comic fans were trying to figure out how they were going to do that because, as we saw in Captain Marvel, it was
Yeah,
sort of
they
the
were like
opposite
helping the
of
Skrulls. Yeah,
in the
because the Skrulls
comics.
weren't nice at all. None of them were helpful. They were all like just wanting to take over our planet.
And the Kree were actually good in the
Yeah, so
comics.
they kind of. I mean, now we have two factions Skrulls. We have like I've only seen Talos so far, so I don't know how big his side of anything is. And then you got the Skrulls, so it's like they almost all just gave up on Talos and like, you know what, screw it, we'll just follow this Gravik guy and he'll give us this planet.
Right. And yeah, so I should also say in Captain Marvel, the Kree were initially. This is why it's kind of all over the place. Like initially, we're meant to think that the Kree are good. I think in that movie, and
Yep.
then they sort of turn out to be bad.
They were trying to make it like the Skrulls are bad, and it was actually reversed.
Right, right. And now it's kind of back to being that original premise, but
Yeah, it's good. They have good ways of like changing around to get back to the original way.
right. And I should say this: Gravik is probably sort of the true bad Skrull, and that all these
The
other
antagonist,
followers are kind of well, they're followers and they're sort
well,
of
they're
being
following his
ignorant, right? Being
right.
promised
Yeah.
things and given things, and for in exchange for fighting for them, right?
Hmm.
So back at New Skrullos, we have two Skrull dudes talking about that Nick Fury's in town, and see kind of in the background the guy as they're watching on, and one of the guys ends up giving her this task uh, in town, and I guess at this point it's not. I guess it's maybe to find information and not to. This isn't yet the bigger task later, right?
No, well, I think she took money to go pick up the either bombs or something else in those bags that she grabbed. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Right, right.
But here's the thing though. They said they stole the bomb the day Prescott was killed, unless the person she's meeting is the one that stole the bomb, and now she's getting it to transfer it back to base.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's all this first one. There's a lot of mysteries. There's a lot of holes that are not filled yet.
Yeah, Phil, yeah.
We got 5 more episodes. That's crazy to say that it's 5 more episodes. Oh,
Yeah. So back in town or city, well, I guess it's Moscow. It's maybe downtown
it's
Moscow
Russia,
even. Yeah.
Russia, Moscow. Yeah,
This is Russia.
this is Russia.
Which is like, yeah, timely. Did they kind of wonder if did they hold off on this show because of certain things in the news?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors. I don't know.
Oh, that? No, I don't know. Oh, forgot about that part. But no, I mean with Russia and yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they really are holding back on any of that.
They're not. They're also
Not.
not mentioning that
Well, no,
specific
this is a different. This is a
different
different
timeline
universe.
or whatever.
Doesn't even. This doesn't even. This in this MCU, the Ukraine war may not even happen.
Right, right. Well, they're
And
definitely
maybe
not
they're
gonna.
trying to stay away with
Yeah,
that and
I'm
not
sure.
make this political.
I'm sure they are.
They just want to tell a story and that's it.
Yep. So, in town, there's Talos is in was it like I think he's in like a taxi.
Oh no, he walked up at didn't he walk up as a dude that was waiting like they were both like part of the Sonya's
Mm-hmm.
uh thugs as Nick Fury called them.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back as one with coffee and then tranquilized the other guy to
Mm-hmm.
knock him out. Right.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. The coffee, like he's like no coffee, and just doesn't really say anything.
And he
Yeah.
just knocks him out with
Right.
Trank.
And then ends up meeting back up with Fury, and I know there's a joke in there that about turning 40 or when they turn 40, because Talos is like, I don't understand their age, how their aging works, but he basically said he would be like turning 40 in human. He's not even 40 in human years.
I was gonna be like, yeah, I know. I was like, wow, you
Yeah, he
look
doesn't
old.
look it. Yeah. um,
You
and
think
then
you look younger, you know?
he mentions about what he did, or what did he get when he turned 40 to Fury, and Fury's like the Avengers. Was
Oh
his.
yeah, Fury's like, I got the Avengers.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't think Fury was. I mean, Sam Jackson definitely was not 40, but back in 2012,
Yeah,
because
but
he's 70 now. So
well,
that's
no,
something.
but yeah. So that was starting it because like they also talk about Miss Marvel being or no, Captain America is the first Avenger. I don't know. I get confused about all
Yeah,
that.
Captain America's first Avenger. So in either way, he was the first superhuman in some ways
So could you say
that we know.
right? Yeah, I suppose they were trying to form it in with Iron Man. Um,
Oh, think about it. The first Avenger was Captain America, but they didn't use that. They just called that because technically he was the first Avenger. Captain Marvel call sign was Avenger on her when she's flying, and that's where Fury got the idea because I think it was like some other kind of initiative. I can't remember what exactly it was, but then he changed it to the Avengers Initiative,
mm-hmm.
and that's came from Carol Danvers because of her call sign. And then Iron Man 1, we saw Nick Fury technically for the first time, but it's not really the first time if we go by the MCU logic timeline.
Mm.
So, yeah. Avengers Initiative started off with getting. Technically, you could say that Carol Danvers was the first event, like the first actual Avenger member, because he had a beeper for her.
Right, right. Yeah, it gets. I mean, it gets tricky, and like things end up probably needing to get retconned anyway, like over time.
Yeah.
When you got so many hands in all this, even though Kevin Feige is supposedly at the, he knows all
He's
this,
got
has it all
well,
mapped out.
he has the map, but
So did
sometimes.
Lucas. Like, I mean, and he had a lot
Well,
less stuff to probably figure out. But there's still things that they get, kind of had to like.
we won't even get in that conversation. My I was very hopeful for the last three of the trilogy, or the whatever you call it,
Sequel
uh,
trilogy.
saga, or
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I was very let down.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
now,
that's
I mean, thankfully we have uh, Dave Filoni and John Favreau kind of trying to make sense of it all. So
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah. So then we get. Oh yeah. So this is where we walk in on this bearded guy. Is this Keller?
he's like an antique dude,
Right.
and yeah, does antique stuff. That is.
It says Keller. I put down.
I don't know why
Um,
you have Keller. I don't know
is
who
it not
Keller is.
Keller?
Keller is Agent Keller was Talos's um like cover. I think that's where you got it. It's got
Right.
to be
This beard.
Popristian.
Okay. This
I
guy.
can't say his name.
And he didn't. I think he didn't seem to speak uh, great English. Is that right?
No, but he was like freaking out when Fury sat in that King Louis chair.
Yeah. He says it's a priceless chair, and
Yeah.
they're trying to get the information out of this guy, and Fury Fury happens to have this line of everybody gets one, which I thought was funny because that's like a classic Spider-Man line, I believe. Well, at least it was on Family Guy. When Spider-Man pops out, and he's like, "Everybody gets one," and he makes
Oh.
recurring. He's like, "Thank you, Spider-Man." um, and so they keep threatening him, and they they do something first that gets him to get a little more frightened, and then it's kind of
I think it
like,
wasn't it Nick Fury pointing the gun at him that got him a little more
yeah,
frightened.
yeah, but then Talos comes in, and it's almost kind of like good cop bad cop a little bit, or maybe just bad cop because he comes a little harder at him, and um then yeah, what does he end up doing? He ends up does he does he flee? He just this part is a little gray in my head,
No,
but
no. So Talos tells Fury not to shoot him. They say, "I got this," and
oh yeah, that's right, yeah,
they fight each other because he figures out the
that's right.
antique guy figures out that that's actually Talos. Or maybe they can see each other a different way, like through their eyes. And then fight, doesn't get anything, and then Fury finally shoots him because he's pretty sure, like,
That's right. So this almost seems like a scroll, like so in there's a certain name for this in like World of Warcraft where like orcs fight each other. It's like an honorable fight kind of a thing. I almost felt like this was,
hmm,
um, and Fury basically interfered, right? And Talos is kind of pissed about it. He's like, I said no, right? Um,
yeah,
by the end of it
because
all,
he didn't want him to kill him. He doesn't want his people to be dying anymore.
right? Um, so in the next scene, I think Hill winds up kind of going after Gaia in the subway, chasing after her. And I think they get to a ladder, I want to say. Um, she ends up, I think Gaia ends up outrunning Hill for one reason or another. Does she like knock her down?
Yeah, she knocks. Well, she kicks Hill's ass kind of because then she's like
She just
a
straight up,
scroll. She is a scroll, so she does
yeah.
have that power. And then I think she tells Talos where she went, and he keeps pursuing, and then he makes like a warning shot, doesn't know who it is yet, and then she starts coming down, and he's like, "Oh, it's Gaia, Gaia." And then they had that father-daughter talk thing.
Yeah, lovely father-daughter talk because um,
She didn't know her mom was dead.
right, and but she also
Soren, I should
probably
say.
maybe didn't know that her dad was alive at this point, or hadn't seen him in
Possibly.
at least a long time.
It seems like she's hasn't seen either of them for a while.
Hmm.
Makes
But then
sense.
she ends up escaping for one reason or another, or he lets her go.
I think he lets her go.
Yeah, because it's
And
his
then yeah,
daughter. Yeah.
yep.
Um, then we're taken to a tavern of sorts, and Fury's at the bar and asks for a drink. And at first, his patron there is kind of being an ass to him, but he ends up offering him to buy him a drink. So he's kind of making friends with the locals. And then him and he'll end up sitting down, and I didn't notice at first, but not only are they drinking together, but I guess they're also playing chess here at this point at this table.
It's a very spyish kind of thing to do.
There was a comment in here. I didn't try to remember it exactly. I don't want to repeat it, but there's a you can't say that moment,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which
And
was
Fury's like, yeah, I can, because it is a
yeah.
racial slur
Oh yeah, it was a
term.
slur. Yeah, they say it in like Back to the Future. I'm not gonna repeat it here,
Yeah,
but
no. Well,
it's an
I
old
mean,
time.
they said it on Disney
That's
Plus,
fine.
so
but again, you can't say
but
that. Like,
it did come from Nick Fury's mouth, so I think he has the right to say it because
sure. I'm just saying.
he
I'm
can
not
say it.
saying it.
No, I'm not saying it. No. Mm-mm.
um, but yeah. A, let's just say like what 50s term for yeah, yeah.
Yep. It's,
So
it's a very bad. It's a term that should not be used. But
right. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, they're kind of having some good old talk, and she's basically he'll think that Fury hasn't been the same ever since the blip, and I think maybe it was at this point. There's definitely a point in this where they show the flashback to when the blip actually happened and when Fury got disintegrated, and yeah, or it's either at this moment or shortly thereafter. I think. So Fury's kind of, I think he's thinking about it a little bit, you know, and maybe contemplating whether or not that did really kind of mess with him. But yeah, after that, back at New Skrullos,
New Skrullos.
that is that's right. That's where we see Guy actually give that bomb to that guy. I don't think that's
It's I
not
just had him up here,
not Gravik.
but it's Brogan. This
Ah,
is
Brogan.
like his. It's like his right hand man kind of thing. I think.
Brogan. Um. So, yeah. Then they chat a little bit. It's a pretty brief scene there, but back in the city.
Back in the city.
This is where apparently Talos and Gaia had planned to meet up. I was a little bit confused if it was two separate taxis they take to meet up.
No, take this. So they were both in disguise when they
Right.
picked it. When the taxi picked her up in her disguise, and then when they got in that back alley, then they changed their back to their normal human form from
I see.
scroll form. I don't know. Yeah. And then they talked. She gives them ideas, tells them she's gonna mark the bags with like a fluorescent paint,
Mm-hmm.
so they can identify where they are, which they do.
Which they do. That's true. Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, she's sort of playing double agent here, working both sides. Almost seems like at this point, like it's her father. She feels like she has to do this. At least that's what we're led to
Yeah.
believe. So they go the next day because this was at night. I guess, and then sort of in the next day, daytime, whenever it was, they go after these bags. They're watching with, I don't know, binoculars or whatever, and is so it's again it's the trio, right? Talos, Fury, and Hill, and always in threes. They
In threes.
they
They
are
all have glasses
watching.
on.
They see. I think they at least see a couple. Oh, because initially Gaia has two backpacks, both of which had that fluorescent X on them.
Yep, and they're all wearing glasses to identify it with their fancy tech glasses.
Oh yeah, sure, glasses. Yeah,
Well,
that's the way to do it.
well, that would be the only way they could see them. It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's a fluorescent paint that's not supposed to be seen.
Well, I was thinking it was like, yeah, incorporated in binoculars or something, but
No,
I
no,
guess I forgot that.
they were all wearing glasses,
Sure.
definitely.
Were the glasses had zoom on them? I take it some kind of.
Yeah, it had pretty sure it had all the bells and whistles like Tony Stark tech.
Sure, sure, makes sense. So they say they missed the pass. I guess the handoff,
hmm
right? And then then whatever bag she had, two other guys have now, and
Yep.
there's a third one elsewhere, right? Um,
So you don't see, so you don't know where that one's at.
right.
But
We
they do
see,
end up getting the bags back, or Hill and Talos, and they're empty. So they're decoys.
yeah, but Fury also sees like this kid dressed up in sort of, I guess, authentic Russian, presumably, um,
Yeah.
what's the word for that? Well, let's just say wardrobe. Um,
Authentic heritage stuff.
yeah,
Like,
and carrying like
yeah,
a ball, like a, I don't know.
it's just a ball.
It's interesting. It seemed kind of random for the for the situation. It seemed off, let's say. But every time that person would pass, behind something, of course they just shifted into a new
Oh,
person.
you didn't catch it then, did you?
What's that?
Oh, well, that's maybe that's why it wasn't there. So, well, you did have the kid dressed up. So, think about when Fury got picked up, was taking a walk in Moscow and got picked up by those dudes, right? Prior to that, he looked at a couple that were making out and
Yeah.
looked at the woman, and then all of a sudden, a girl in the middle of the night is walking with a ball bouncing across the street,
Yeah. That's why I
right? And then think about the bar, the guy that was talking at the bar about kind of like basically insulting him. He was also he was also in that scene, an ending scene here.
oh, okay. Yeah. Um.
Now, knowing who it is at the end, you wonder were all those people he saw, because that's what made tripped him up. He's like, why am I seeing this girl again?
Mm-hmm.
Or seeing that dude from the bar again, or seeing that lady who was making out with this dude. It could have been all Gravik. Yeah, Gravik.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess I didn't put all of that together, but I did, mention that the things seemed off right before the people he saw right before the getting thrown in the van.
Mm.
But yeah, I guess I didn't put that together that they yeah, I knew this wasn't the first time we saw that girl, I guess, in the back of my head. I'm remembering now that you mention it, but okay.
When I first saw it, I was like, that is so. Why would a girl be out at night playing with a ball bouncing around? It's like
Mm-hmm.
it just felt really out of place.
Right, right. So, yeah, like you mentioned, those bags ended up being. Oh, so real quick though, yeah, that the person shifts well, like three times or something. We see Fury
And all
as
those different characters that he's already seen.
right as he's going after that person. Um,
hmm
yeah, and we do notice that those bags were decoys. And then the uh, first one, of course, bomb goes off in front of, was it Hill at this point, or was it
Oh, it
Talos?
was in front of. No, it was in front of. Pretty sure it was in front of Fury, because Garrick, Gravik, Gravik basically looks at Fury and just stops and has a detonator in his hand and doot, blow. That was the
Right.
first explosion. Then two more went off after.
Right. Which was conveniently didn't get at this point, didn't get any of the three of them.
Yeah.
But not that that matters because, yeah, so do they, how many go off before? I mean, obviously, eventually all of them go off, right?
Mhm.
All the bombs, but somewhere in between there is where we get someone that appears to be Fury actually
Uh,
shooting
I think the bombs all go off, and then who we see as Fury shooting is
Maria
after.
Hill.
Yeah.
Um, and then we see the
I
real.
knew I knew at that point. I'm like, that's yeah. I know who that is.
So this was. Did they? I'm trying to remember if
Gravik.
they revealed. They don't reveal who it is.
Yeah, you.
Do they? Okay, so
Because
this
he
is that.
changed. Because once Fury shows up and sees what he sees his own himself standing there, and then someone passes, and all of a sudden it's Gravik again in his regular human form. Um, and then he kind of just disappears, I think.
Right.
And then that's where Fury runs the hill, and
She
Talos comes
said.
up, and it was you.
Right.
Yeah.
She. Yeah. Hills
And
like
and
thinks
then
it's him,
she
and he's trying to
and then
convince
she
her, but not
well
quite
she
sure if he did before her last breath.
Yep. And then Talos grabs Fury and says, "We gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go," because
We gotta
basically
go.
they're they're gonna find Maria. She's already dead, and the government's looking for them.
Which is
So
sad.
so
Although
Fury's gonna be on the run a little bit more now.
I know it's not. I mean, I'm a little confused on what is or isn't canon. With like, it's. Then again, so but the number of times, at least in the show that may or may not be canon, people
Agents of
died multiple.
Shield.
Yeah, people seem to die multiple times.
Um, I don't think they're gonna like. Kim Feige said that stuff is kind of just in its own universe because
So Coulson,
he he never like someone in that ran the TV division of Marvel decided just to do that without really consulting and knew about the plans of what they were doing for phase two. So he would pepper stuff for phase two. That's why, like, I think it's season two of Agents Shield. You can literally, there's a spot where Coulson's getting ready to get the uh, helicarrier out of mothballs to give to Fury. But that's not, Kevin Feige says that's not canon to him.
so was Coulson supposed to be dead after uh
Coulson's dead. He's
in
MCU dead. He's been
MCU
dead.
dead? So he's supposed to die in the first Avengers movie
Yeah, he did die.
because they needed a
Because I thought originally like, oh, that's cool. They're making shows about this, but then later on after that, they fired the TV Marvel TV president. He came out and said like, no, he had no, that was not part of their thing. Like even in Humans, that was not part of the MCU. Which
right.
is kind of bummer, but it's like, okay, well, yeah, Kevin Feige had his own thing, and you got another president basically getting the ideas of what's happening in the movie part. Yeah, he'll easily try to do that, but
That being said, hasn't Fury actually died before in the movies?
he technically he acted like he died in Winter Soldier,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't really dead.
Right. And
He's,
God only knows how many times Loki died.
oh yeah, Loki keeps coming back. He's like a cockroach that can't die.
right. So, in other words, you never know with Hill here. Like, she seems pretty dead, but
I'm thinking. I mean, I don't think I read something. Kobe Smothers or Smolders. I can't say her last name right, but she said she wasn't real. She didn't know
mhm,
exactly that she's going to die in there, but she said if they somehow wanted to bring her back in down the line, she'd come back. course, they could bring her back as like a different variant of Maria Hill,
Mm-hmm.
because they like to play with variants these days. So there's that possibility.
Right. Yeah. Either
Um,
way, sad. I don't want to see her
yeah,
go.
yeah, but there's also like sometimes some of these actors want to do other things too.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, there's different ways of doing that, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was a fun episode. Hey, Mike. Hey. What'd you think of it?
Well, I'm looking forward to your score, but I
Oh
know you're
yeah.
gonna
Wait. Did we
go.
say? Did we establish? I'm
You're
gonna
gonna go.
start doing this first now. You think you wanted me to?
I did, because I feel like you go two above or two below me every time. I'm
All right.
curious what you start off with.
All right. 4 out of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 5.
What?
That's what you said. 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Just 4.
4. Yeah.
Just 4. Okay. I'm going a little bit higher than that. I thought it was a really solid start. 4.5.
4.5. Okay.
Shane, you look a little distressed now. You're like, oh God, did I say low? Too low?
So what would you? I mean, we don't know. We don't know what we would have said unless the first one said it first. We got to like do it at the same time. Like,
I would have still said 4.5. To be
okay,
honest.
yeah, gotcha.
If I said 4.5, what would you have said? Would you still have said
I don't
4?
know. I don't really know.
That's why
We're
it's
just
like
doing this off the cuff.
interesting experiment.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. It was good though. Like, and then now there's all the controversy about the animated. You could tell right away that that there was AI involved with those with that intro sequence. Um,
Oh, because it was generated by AI.
yeah, or at least it was used in the process, and they had to make tweaks along the way or whatever. It's like
It looked like a cool
it
thing,
looked
but I get
cool.
why. But I get why, like, some people probably get nervous of it, because that get job security up
Yeah,
there.
but artists
You
in
know,
general, like any artist, is
right?
pretty much like freaking out about it or like is upset with the use of it in
Yeah.
general.
Oh yeah, because now, like, an AI, artificial intelligence can just be like, okay, I got this, and
Right.
then what do the artists do? Because now they're like, well, we don't really need you. We have AI to do this for us.
I do want to quick
That's
mention before I forget that in the I think it was the last episode. Yeah, I think I was totally wrong about the use of median. I think you corrected me on that. That I think mean is the one that I was trying to think of when we were figuring out the average rating for what was the last one we talked about? I can't even remember.
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. Yeah. So I think the mean is the sort of quick average I know how to calculate. But obviously, as you also pointed out, there's websites that do this for you.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah. How about that?
Yeah, it's a
Another
good
episode in the
start.
books. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, big day. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, thanks,
Any
guys.
other thoughts before we go?
No, can't wait for the next episode. It's gonna be thrilling.
It'll be great. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. Disnerdsplus@gmail.com is how you can contact us if you would like to. We'd appreciate anything at all, anything. We're not begging, but something would be good once in a while. Disnerdsplus.com is the website. Hey, I think we're gonna be starting to record Thursdays normally. Today happened to be a Sunday, just what it worked out, how it worked out.
A lot of busyness happening.
Yeah, I think we're gonna start recording Thursdays though, the day after the show comes out. But timing wise, probably 7 or 8, somewhere around there, p.m. Central
Yeah.
Time. We have to figure it all out. Keep an eye out though. Twitch.tv/ShaveMadOx is where you can do that. Turn on notifications, I guess, if you want to know for sure when we're going live. But you can find Mike at Cool as a Cucumber. You can find me at ShaveMadOx. And until next time, take care. Bye. Yay. Timed it just right, I think. Why can't I hear you now?
Sorry. Got 28 minutes before I got to start my stupid job.
That's the spirit.
Oh, that's how you know how I feel about this company right now.
Yeah, I just, yeah.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried what I say.
Okay.
I'm really not.
Apparently I think I said that's the spirit. I gotta stop apparently saying that because Rhythm Maker told me I he gets pissed off when I say that after it. He's I don't remember, something like if he has a bad hand in Hearthstone and I say that's the spirit. Like, yeah, I guess
Nice.
that is kind of a dick move. But
Nice. Yeah, that is kind of.
anywho,
Cool, man. Well, yeah, I'm gonna order Domino's soon now.
do it.
And you're going to lunch, dinner, with your dad?
Possibly
Nice.
before Diablo. Yeah,
What time you playing Diablo? You think?
we usually shoot for. Well, I mean, we used to shoot for 6, but the guys have been taking. I mean, they usually pop in like maybe
Oh,
closer to 7, but I'm gonna try to be on at 6.
yeah, because I know like I can probably easily play without any interruption, be from like until 8:30 because I have someone on that's doing all the tier 1 stuff. Once he once they leave, I don't know if it's he or her tonight, but once they leave, then it's just that's where it gets like, oh, I gotta go and do stuff. Like
Right.
usually something's happening. I'm like, oh well, I gotta pop out. Sorry, bye.
Yep.
So
Fair enough.
yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
I'll
actually,
be on.
when you do that though, if you're able to leave the party, I don't remember if you were doing that last time or not, but
Oh no, I don't think I did. I think I just.
just yeah, because then like the difficulty level will at least go back to, you know,
Oh, I got you. I
yeah,
got you. Okay, I can do that.
cool.
But well, and I'll see you on Diablo later.
Sounds good. Have a great
All right, dude.
night.
You too. See ya.
All right.
Uh,
Bye, everybody. We are going to leave now. See you back in a few hours, for some Sun Night Fun Night. Goodbye, everybody.